Today we start gastrointestinal system. The main topics from gastrointestinal system are jaundice, a short case in practical, can be a long question in theory, liver cirrhosis, then acid peptic disease, malabsorption syndrome, and chronic diarrhea. These are the main topics. There can be long question on liver cirrhosis and jaundice, and there is a short case of liver cirrhosis and jaundice in practical. So these two topics are very important. Acid peptic disease is a simple topic. Then there is short note on chronic diarrhea and short note on malabsorption syndrome. Then short note can be on balanced diet. Short note can be on vitamin deficiency manifestations. So oral manifestations of vitamin deficiency, oral manifestations of HIV, oral manifestations of bleeding disorder, like that. So you can prepare that short notes. Now we'll start the important topic, that is jaundice. So we mainly concerned with liver. Jaundice means we mainly concerned with liver. So this is your liver having two main lobes, right, left, plus other two lobes, right, caudate and quadrate lobe. That means total 4 lobes. Your liver having dual blood supply from portal vein as well as from hepatic artery. So liver having a rich blood supply from portal vein as well as hepatic artery. That is called as dual blood supply. Then this is your gallbladder. This is the biliary system, gallbladder, cystic duct, bile duct, common bile duct, pancreatic duct, which open into ampulla of Vater. Here in the duodenum, it is the second part of duodenum. This is your pancreas. So these are the right and left lobes. This is the cystic duct. These are the two hepatic ducts which form common hepatic duct and cystic duct joined to form bile duct. Then there is a accessory pancreatic duct, and this is the main pancreatic duct. Head of pancreas, second part of duodenum, this is jejunum, this is pancreas, this is tail of pancreas. This is for your understanding. You should know the anatomy basic and physiology. Then and then only you can understand about the jaundice. So this is mainly the biliary system, which is again very important in jaundice, because your bile is excreted via this system into the intestinal part. Bile is excreted into intestinal part via this excretory system, which is very important. So what is jaundice? We know jaundice or icterus are the same. Jaundice is layman's word, icterus is medical word. It is nothing but the yellowish discoloration of the skin and mucous membrane, which is mainly because of increased bilirubin level in the blood and deposition of bile pigment. That is called jaundice. So this yellow discoloration of skin and mucous membrane is mainly because of deposition of bile pigment, which is a yellow color pigment. So jaundice or icterus means yellow tinge is usually detectable clinically when plasma bilirubin level exceed more than 3 mg per cell. So it is usually detectable clinically. Means clinically you can see the yellow tinge of the patient, yellowness of the eyes or yellow color of the skin when plasma bilirubin level exceed more than 3 mg per deciliter. So jaundice is not a disease actually. It is not a primary disease. It is rather a sign of underlying disease. So it is not a disease. It is not a primary disease. It is a sign of underlying disease. You have to find out the cause of jaundice. So normal serum bilirubin level is 0.3 to 1 milligram per deciliter. That is your normal bilirubin level in the blood. Bilirubin is conjugated, unconjugated, also called as direct bilirubin, indirect bilirubin. Conjugated form is called direct bilirubin, unconjugated form is called indirect bilirubin. So direct is 0.1 to 0.3, indirect is 0.2 to 0.6. Now you should know the bilirubin pathway. There is increasing bilirubin level in the blood, which is responsible for jaundice or which is responsible for yellow discoloration. So why why there is increase in bilirubin level. So before that, you should know the bilirubin pathway. So bilirubin is nothing but it is the end product of hemoglobin catabolism or heme catabolism. It is the end product of heme catabolism or hemoglobin catabolism. When your RBC rupture after completion of lifespan, release of hemoglobin from the RBC, this hemoglobin is degraded into heme and globin part. Globin is reutilized by your body. Heme is again degraded into porphyrin and iron. Heme is again degraded into porphyrin and iron. Iron is again reutilized by your body. And now the porphyrin is metabolized and the end product is formation of bilirubin. So it is nothing but it is the end product of hemoglobin degradation of catabolism. So this bilirubin, when formed from porphyrin, is bound to albumin in circulation. It is bound to albumin in circulation, and then with albumin it is carried to your liver. Then the liver cells or the hepatocytes, they take this bilirubin, or this bilirubin, which is protein bound form, is taken up by the hepatocytes. Then then the albumin is dissociated from bilirubin. Albumin is dissociated from bilirubin and re-enter into circulation and reutilized by the body. Now the bilirubin is conjugated in the liver. There occurs conjugation of bilirubin in the liver. This is called as conjugated form of bilirubin. This conjugated form of bilirubin is excreted via this biliary system into intestine. Means via gallbladder, cystic duct, common bile duct, fatty duct. It is excreted into the intestine. Then in intestine, by the action of bacteria which are present in the intestine, this conjugated bilirubin is again unconjugated. Conjugated bilirubin is again unconjugated, and from this unconjugated bilirubin there occurs formation of urobilinogen and stercobilinogen. Formation of urobilinogen and stercobilinogen. This urobilinogen is reabsorbed into the blood. It is reabsorbed into the blood across the intestinal wall, and then it is carried to the kidney and it is filtered via kidney and excreted in the urine. The urobilinogen filtered via kidney and excreted in the urine. So this gives your urine a slight yellow color. This urobilinogen gives your urine a slight yellow color. Now the formation of stercobilinogen. The stercobilinogen is converted to stercobilin. This stercobilin is excreted in feces. The stercobilin is excreted in feces, and that gives a normal yellow color of the feces. That gives a normal brown color or yellow color to the feces. That is the normal color, which is because of stercobilin. So in intestine, this conjugated bilirubin is unconjugated. There occurs formation of urobilinogen and stercobilinogen. Stercobilinogen excreted in the feces, urobilinogen excreted via urine. Some part of urobilinogen, which enters into circulation, and from enterohepatic circulation means from portal vein, it is again carried to the liver. From portal vein, it is carried to liver. That is called as enterohepatic circulation. So it is called as enterohepatic circulation. Means some form of urobilinogen again go back to liver. Some form of urobilinogen again go back to liver via portal vein, which is called as enterohepatic circulation. So this is the total bilirubin pathway. So any disturbance in this pathway, lead to increase in bilirubin level in your blood, and that is responsible for jaundice. So you should know the bilirubin pathway. Now you should also know the functions of liver. You should also know the functions of liver. So liver is a very, very important organ of the body, or it is a vital organ of the body. Kidney, liver, heart, brain, these are the vital organs. So liver has so many functions. Liver has so many functions. It is a very important organ of the body. So main functions are metabolic functions. So its role in all three metabolism: carbohydrate metabolism, fat metabolism, and protein metabolism. That is important. Digestion of fat, protein metabolism, carbohydrate metabolism. What is the role in carbohydrate metabolism? The role in carbohydrate metabolism is mainly the formation of glucose. That is called as gluconeogenesis, means synthesis of glucose from amino acids and from lactate. Then breakdown of glycogen again to form glucose. So its main role is in gluconeogenesis, Breakdown of glycogen again to form glucose. Glycogenesis means formation of glycogen. Glycogen is a storage form of glucose. Glycogen is a storage form of glucose. So its role in carbohydrate metabolism is to form glucose. Now role in digestion of fat also. So it produces bile, which is an alkaline compound, and it always required for the digestion of fat. Bile is always required for digestion of fat, for the emulsification of lipids. So bile is very important in digestion of fat or in emulsification of lipids. So bile is stored in the gallbladder. So the liver also performs several low lipid metabolism like cholesterol synthesis, formation of cholesterol, lipogenesis, that is the production of triglycerides, then lipoproteins. So synthesis of lipoproteins, cholesterol synthesis, triglyceride synthesis, as well as digestion because it produces bile and bile is very important in digestion of fat. So role in digestion of fat, role in carbohydrate metabolism, now the role in protein metabolism. The liver is responsible for the protein metabolism, means mainly the synthesis as well as degradation. Its role in protein metabolism is protein synthesis as well as degradation. Means it is the synthetic function of liver. Synthesis of protein, synthesis of lipoprotein, synthesis of glucose. Synthesis of glucose, synthesis of lipoprotein, and synthesis of albumin, that is protein. So it is the mainly synthetic function or the role in all three metabolism, carbohydrate metabolism, fat metabolism, protein metabolism. Then synthesis of coagulation factors. It's very important role of liver. It synthesizes coagulation factors like 1, 2, 5, 7, 9, and 10, which are mainly vitamin K dependent factors which are used in extrinsic pathway of the coagulation, as well as protein C, protein S, and antithrombin. So all these coagulation factors are synthesized by the liver. Coagulation factor 1, 2, that is fibrinogen, prothrombin, 5, 7, 1, 2, 5, 7, 9, 10, and 11, which are vitamin K dependent clotting factors used in extrinsic pathway, as well as protein C, protein S, and antithrombin, which are the natural anticoagulants. So synthesis of coagulation factors, very important function. So synthetic function of liver. Other functions include it also act as an extramedullary erythropoietic site whenever body needs, particularly in fetus. So it can produce or it can synthesize red blood cells, means it can act as an extramedullary erythropoietic site. It can act as an extramedullary erythropoietic site, that is red blood cell production in fetus. Then breakdown function. Breakdown function of the liver. So it mainly there is breakdown of insulin and other hormones. Then bilirubin excretion, that is important pathway, excretion of bilirubin, breakdown of insulin as well as other hormones like ADH. Then liver also break down or detoxify. It also break down or detoxify or excrete some toxic substances. That is drug metabolism. Then detoxification function of the liver, that is very important. So breakdown function mainly breakdown of hormones like insulin, ADH, excretion of bilirubin, very important function. Then drug and toxin detoxification function or their metabolism or their excretion, that is important function. Then the liver convert ammonia to urea. Liver convert ammonia to urea and urea is excreted in the urine. Urea is excreted in the urine. That is also important function. That is the breakdown function. Then it regulates the production of platelet. It regulates the production of platelet. Liver is the major site of thrombopoietin production, and thrombopoietin is a glycoprotein hormone that regulates the production of platelet by the bone marrow. It is the major site of thrombopoietin. Thrombopoietin is a glycoprotein hormone which regulates production of platelet by bone marrow. So it regulates the production of platelets. Now other functions include storage function. Other function include storage function. So it is a storage site for some vitamins, storage site for iron, storage site for copper, storage site for vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin B12, glycogen, like that. So storage function. Then function in immune system or immunological function. So liver is responsible for immunological effects also because it is one of the main reticuloendothelial system. The reticuloendothelial system of the liver contains so many immunological active cells which remove foreign particle or antigen. So it is also important reticuloendothelial system. So the function of reticuloendothelial system is to identify foreign antigen, to identify foreign particles, and to remove. So that is important function in immunity. So function of liver in immunity, it acts as a storage site for vitamin B12, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K, as well as iron, copper, glycogen. So storage function in immunological system or immune function of the liver. Then synthetic function, we already discussed, it synthesizes albumin, that is protein, very important. Then it also synthesizes angiotensinogen, which is a hormone, which is converted to angiotensin 1 by renin. So synthesis of angiotensinogen, synthesis of albumin. And function in immune system, storage function, regulates production of platelet, breakdown function. In breakdown function, breakdown of insulin, antidiabetic hormone, excretion of bilirubin, detoxification function, drug metabolism, conversion of ammonia to urea, and red cell production in fetus. So all these are the functions of liver. Now the types of jaundice. Prehepatic means pathology before liver, pathology in the liver, pathology after liver. Prehepatic, hepatic, posthepatic. Pathology before liver, in the liver, after liver. Prehepatic, hepatic, posthepatic. Prehepatic causes mainly include hemolytic causes, means breakdown of RBC, excessive breakdown of RBC, as we see in hemolytic anemias. Excessive breakdown of RBC, excessive release of hemoglobin, excessive formation of bilirubin. That is hemolytic anemias. Hepatic jaundice, hepatic causes, and post-hepatic, which mainly include disturbance or obstruction in the excretion of bilirubin. Obstruction in the excretion of bilirubin. Any obstruction in the pathway of bilirubin excretion, that is obstructive jaundice. In short, we also call it as obstructive jaundice. So post-hepatic causes include obstructive jaundice, hepatic causes, prehepatic causes. Prehepatic mainly include hemolytic anemias. So these are causes of jaundice. Prehepatic causes mainly include hemolytic anemia like sickle cell anemia, cytosis, G6PD deficiency, megaloblastic anemia, malaria, paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, autoimmune hemolysis, thalassemia. All these are the prehepatic causes, that is hemolytic anemias. Hepatic causes mainly include damage to the liver, like viral hepatitis, alcoholic hepatitis, hepatic abscess, malignancies of liver, some hepatotoxic drugs, toxins. As we already discussed, anti-tuberculous drugs are toxic to liver. They can cause drug-induced hepatitis, like that. So there are so many drugs which are toxic to liver, mainly anti-tuberculous drugs, methotrexate, yellow phosphorus. These are some substances which are toxic to liver and cause toxic hepatitis. Then Wilson's disease. Wilson's disease means there is excessive copper deposition in the liver, that is called as Wilson's disease, which is mainly because of enzyme deficiency. So that enzyme deficiency lead to excessive deposition of copper in the liver, that is called as Wilson's disease. So hepatic causes mainly include viral hepatitis A, B, C, D, E, alcoholic hepatitis, very common in our India. Then hepatic abscess. This abscess can be bacterial, can be amoebic. Malignancies of liver, drug toxin induced injury, mainly antituberculous drugs which are toxic to liver, and Wilson's disease. Post-hepatic causes include obstructive jaundice. So obstruction can be in the gallbladder, obstruction can be in the cystic duct, obstruction can be in the bile duct. So it includes calculi or malignancies in the gallbladder. The obstruction is either in the form of calculi. So this obstruction can be in the form of calculi or in the form of malignancy, that is in the form of mass. So calculi in gallbladder, calculi in the cystic duct, calculi in the common bile duct, which obstruct the pathway of bilirubin excretion, or mass or malignancies of gallbladder. Then malignancies of pancreas, CA pancreas, bile duct stricture, or ascariasis means round worm obstruction. Round worm can cause obstruction in the biliary pathway. So Post-hepatic causes mainly include causes of obstructive jaundice. So obstruction in the gallbladder, cystic duct, bile duct means obstruction in the pathway of bilirubin. Most common causes bile duct stricture, calculi in the bile duct, gallbladder CM or malignancies of gallbladder or calculi in the gallbladder or CA. So these are all the causes of jaundice. Now signs and symptoms. As the name suggests, it is the yellow discoloration of skin. So patient's presentation is patient always presented with yellow discoloration of eye, yellow discoloration of skin and yellow discoloration of urine. The common complaint is yellow discoloration of eyes, yellow discoloration of skin and passing yellow color urine. So yellow discoloration is the main symptom of the patient or presentation of the patient. Then associated with that, patient also complaining of abdominal discomfort, nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite, fatigue, etc. Then complaints related with underlying cause. Complaints related with the underlying cause. So the common complaints are yellow discoloration, abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite, itching of the skin, low-grade fever, weakness, fatigue, excessive sleep. Somnolence means excessive sleep and symptom related with underlying disease. Signs again, you notice or you can notice there is yellow discoloration of eyes, which is mainly check on bulbar conjunctiva. That part is called as bulbar conjunctiva or the sclera. Bulbar conjunctiva of the sclera, upper bulbar conjunctiva. You have to check yellow discoloration always in the upper part of bulbar conjunctiva. So yellow discoloration of eye, skin, mucous membrane. You can also check the skin, nails, mucous membrane. So why this is the preferred site? Because bilirubin has affinity for elastic tissue. Bilirubin or the bile pigment has affinity for elastic tissue and your conjunctiva is abundant of elastic. There is abundant elastic tissue in the conjunctiva. So it is the preferred site of the bile pigment to get deposited. This is the preferred site of bile pigment to get deposited because of affinity for elastic tissue. Then other signs on examination of abdomen, you can get enlargement of the liver. Liver is palpable, which can be tender. And then other signs depending on the cause of jaundice. Other signs depending on the cause of jaundice. If it is hemolytic jaundice, that is pre-hepatic cause, you can get pallor because it is hemolytic anemia. The pallor can be present. In hemolytic anemia, spleen is also palpable. So other signs, other symptoms related with underlying cause. Main sign is yellow discoloration. Liver can be palpable, tender. Now, when you notice yellow discoloration, when patient complaining with yellow discoloration, now you see that it is a jaundice or icterus. Now you have to find out the cause of jaundice. You have to search for the cause of jaundice. What is the cause of jaundice? Why bilirubin level in the person is or the patient is increased. That is your aim. So investigation first to confirm the presence of jaundice. First, you have to prove that there is elevated bilirubin level in the patient's blood. First, you have to prove that there is elevated bilirubin level in patient's blood. For that, you have to do liver function test. You have to do liver function test. Liver function test include bilirubin level, direct as well as indirect. Then liver enzymes like HGOT, HGPT, alkaline phosphatase, and protein level, serum albumin level and globulin level and total protein level. The liver function, total liver function test include measurement of serum proteins, measurement of bilirubin level, direct as well as indirect, and measurement of liver enzymes, HGOT, HGPT, alkaline phosphatase. This all constitute complete liver function test. So from liver function test, you can notice that there is elevated or increased bilirubin level, whether it is direct, indirect, as well as if it is this jaundice is because of hepatic damage or the liver damage, then you also get elevated enzymes like HGOT is elevated, HGPT is elevated, alkaline phosphatase is elevated usually in obstructive jaundice. Alkaline phosphatase is elevated in obstructive jaundice. HGOT, HGPT elevated when there is damage to liver. So your first investigation of choice is liver function test. Then now your aim is to search for the cause. And to search out the cause, first rule out if patient is pale whether it is hemolytic anemia. First rule out hemolytic anemia. For that, you have to do complete blood count. You have to see the hemoglobin level. Whether if hemoglobin level is low, if patient is pale, that means it can be hemolytic anemia. Then you have to check urine for the presence of bilirubin, bile salt, bile pigment, and urobilinogen. So excretion of bilirubin, bile salt, bile pigment, and urobilinogen in the urine. So you have to check urine also. Complete blood count for hemoglobin level. Then if you are suspecting, it can be a viral hepatitis. If you are suspecting, it can be a viral hepatitis, which is again the most common cause of jaundice, like hepatitis A, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, hepatitis D. So you have to do viral markers for hepatitis A, B, and C, mainly the IgG, IgM antibodies. Then you have to see the complications of liver damage. You have to also notice the complications of liver damage. So complications of liver damage, for that you have to do clotting time, bleeding time, growth hormone time, because coagulation factors are synthesized by the liver. If there is liver damage, coagulation factors cannot be synthesized by the liver. Platelet production is also hampered by the liver. If there is low platelet production, if clotting factors are not synthesized by the liver, that means there is increase in clotting time, bleeding time, and growth hormone time. So you have to monitor clotting time, bleeding time, and growth hormone time, because it is a complication of liver damage. It is a complication of liver damage. So these are the basic investigations in the case of jaundice: liver function test, complete blood count, urine examination, viral markers, CT, BT, and growth hormone time, and the history, whether patient is alcoholic or not, which is the most common cause of jaundice. If patient is chronic alcoholic, patient is a heavy drinker or daily drinker of alcohol, that means it is alcohol-induced hepatitis which cause jaundice. So history is important whether patient is alcoholic or not. In our India, it is very common. Alcohol addiction is very common. So many alcoholic patients presented with jaundice, that is alcoholic hepatitis. The radiological investigation include X-ray abdomen. Why to do X-ray abdomen? To see the presence of stone, to see the presence of calculi in the gallbladder or in the cystic duct or in the bile duct. For that you have to do X-ray abdomen. From X-ray abdomen you can see the presence of calculi in biliary system. Ultrasound to know the status of liver. Ultrasound can also diagnose obstructive jaundice. So UHG abdomen, which can diagnose obstructive jaundice as well as damage to liver. Then again, if you are not able to see completely on UHG, you can advise CT scan of abdomen. If you are suspecting malignancies of the liver, if you are suspecting malignancies of liver, malignancies of pancreas, malignancies of gallbladder, then you have to advise CT scan of abdomen. Then MRCP, ERCP. What is MRCP, ERCP? It is magnetic resonance cholangiopancreatography. Magnetic resonance cholangiopancreatography, that is MRCP. And ERCP is endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography. So it is nothing but it is the imaging study to see whether there is an obstruction in the biliary pathway. These two studies, MRCP, ERCP, are done to know any obstruction in biliary pathway, either in the form of calculi, in the form of stricture, either in the form of stricture or calculi, to know the obstruction in biliary pathway, MRCP and ERCP. So radiological investigation include X-ray abdomen, UHG abdomen, CT abdomen, MRCP, ERCP. Now the treatment of jaundice is nothing but treatment of underlying cause. So you should diagnose the underlying cause. You should know the underlying cause of jaundice. So treatment of the underlying cause. General treatment of jaundice is, jaundice has no definite treatment, no definitive treatment. So just advise plenty of water, high carbohydrate diet, low fat diet, bowel sterilization. Patient should pass motion daily, means evacuation of bowel is very important. Your bowel should be empty daily. Then stop the offending drug or toxin which can cause damage to liver. Stop offending drug, toxin, no alcohol in jaundice. So plenty of waters, high carbohydrate diet, low fat diet, bowel sterilization, daily bowel evacuation. Stop offending drug and toxin, no alcohol. And treatment of the underlying cause, means treatment of hemolytic anemia. The treatment of hemolytic anemia includes splenectomy, Treatment of viral hepatitis with antiviral drugs, and treatment of obstructive jaundice is always surgical. Treatment of obstructive jaundice is always surgical. You have to remove the obstruction, you have to remove the calculi, you have to correct the stricture, you have to remove the mass, etc. Means treatment of obstructive jaundice is surgical. It's a surgical case. Obstructive jaundice is a surgical case. So treatment of underlying cause, that is the treatment of jaundice. So complete bed rest, plenty of water, high carbohydrate diet, multivitamin supplement, low fat, bowel sterilization, evacuation, and stop drugs, toxin, and alcohol. That is the treatment of jaundice.